like holy missions, and the value of any single Mandalorian came down to how brave they were in a fight and how much land they could conquer. Just as important was their willingness to give their life whenever the moment called for it. The Crusaders rolled across the sectors near their home, taking and all the rest. The reason the Basiliscans mattered so much was what the Mandalorians took from their world. They seized the Basilisk war droids, enormous war mounts made of a living metal that gave them a strange, half-aware mind of their own. These machines could fight just as easily in the open sky as they could in the emptiness of space. A Basilisk war droid was a flying, clawed beast of a vehicle, and a single Mandalorian could ride one straight into a fight, breaking apart enemy formations and even striking targets in orbit above a planet. A warrior already wrapped in Beskar armor could now sit on top of one of these living engines. Against worlds with simple weapons or weak defenses, the Crusaders became almost impossible to stop. This was the moment their name turned into a legend, the most feared fighting force of the entire age. Not everyone folded, though. The first people who truly stood toe-to-toe with them were the Mandalian giants, who lived on the nearby world of Mandalia. Their counterattack was so fierce and so impressive that the Crusaders did something they rarely did. Rather than erasing them, the Mandalorians offered them respect. In time, the Mandalian giants were folded into Mandalorian culture instead of being destroyed, and they became their first real ones. They created the ancient canons of honor, an early set of laws and traditions covering how a warrior should behave and how their leaders should rule. It also laid out the duties each Mandalorian owed to their clan and to their Mandalore. Beneath everything sat a deeper foundation that would later be written down as the Resulnare, a Mandoar word meaning the 6 actions. These were the things that made a person truly Mandalorian. The first was to wear the armor. The second was to speak the language. A Mandalorian also had to be ready to defend themselves and their family at any moment. On top of that, they were expected to raise their children in the old ways and to give back to the well-being of their clan. The final action tied all of it together, because whenever the Mandalore sent out the call, every Mandalorian was bound to answer. The way they organized themselves flowed from this same thinking. Instead of building nations the way most worlds did, the Mandalorians lived in clans. A clan was basically one large warrior family, and many clans together formed bigger groups called houses. Above all of them stood the Mandalore, the single leader they all answered to. What decided that title was the mask itself. Any Mandalorian strong enough to claim the mask of Mandalore and place it on their own head took command of everyone, usually by proving they were the strongest or by being the rightful heir to it. For these centuries, the Mandalorians stayed a wandering people who lived for conquest. Their fleets and their basilisk riders ranged far
Есть.
across the outer and
Отлично.
mid-rim, going
Победа.
wherever they could win treasure and glory or find an enemy